The Philippine National Police revokes the license to own and possess firearms of fugitive televangelist Apollo Quiboloy. PNP spokesperson Colonel Jean Fajardo says PNP Chief General Romel Marbel already approved the PNP Firearms and Explosives Office's recommendation to revoke Quiboloy's license to own and possess firearms. Last April 23, the Firearms and Explosives Office forwarded to Marbel's office its recommendation to cancel or revoke the license to own and possess firearms of Quiboloy. Quiboloy has an existing arrest warrants on charges of child abuse, sexual assault, trafficking, exploitation, and discrimination. PNP Firearms and Explosives Office Public Information Office Chief Major Lady Lu Gondales previously said that the recommendation is in the premise of Quiboloy's violation of Section 26 of the Republic Act No. 10591 or the Comprehensive Firearms and Ammunition Regulation Act. The Firearms and Explosives Office's recommendation was released a day after Senator Risa Ontiveros called on Marbel to lead better, saying that the police may now confiscate Quiboloy's guns based on his pending cases under the implementing rules and regulations of the PNP. Last April 3, the Davao Regional Trial Court issued arrest orders against Quiboloy and several of his subordinates. They were charged with violating Republic Act 7610 or the Anti-Child Abuse Law, specifically the provision on sexual abuse of minors and maltreatment. On April 11, a Pasig City Court also issued a warrant for the arrest of the self-proclaimed appointed son of God for qualified human trafficking, a non-bailable offense. No Chinese vessel was monitored during the joint exercise of the Philippines, France, and the United States in the West Philippine Sea as part of the Balikatan War Games. Balikatan Information Bureau Chief Lieutenant Colonel John Paul Salgado says that the entire maritime fleet of the three countries joining the exercises are sailing smoothly. This was despite the recorded surge of Chinese ships in the West Philippine Sea ahead of the maritime drills. BRP Ramon Alcaraz and BRP Davao del Sur left Puerto Princesa, Palawan on Thursday morning, followed by French frigate Vendemiaire and landing ship dock United States ship Harper's Ferry. On Friday, the fleet continued on conducting division tactics, focusing on refining strategies and maneuvers to enhance effective force deployment and coordination. Salgado says the trilateral fleet will perform maritime search and rescue as well as assemble for communication and photo exercises in the next few days. Naval exercises in the western section of the Exclusive Economic Zone, which are part of the Balikatan drills, will last until April 29. Navy spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore Roy Vincent Trinidad, previously said that China is expected to behave well due to the presence of foreign navies and because they are using military or gray ships. 3 Philippine Coast Guard vessels are also ready to serve as perimeter guards during the drills. Beijing asserts sovereignty in the entire South China Sea, including most of the West Philippine Sea, despite the July 2016 arbitral tribunal ruling that effectively invalidated its claims based on a case filed by Manila in 2013. Senator Raffy Tulfo is formally seeking a Senate investigation of what he says was alarming power supply issues that led to electricity rates doubling during red and yellow alerts. Tulfo, who is the chair of the Chamber's Committee on Energy, filed Senate Resolution No. 1008 following consecutive declarations of red and yellow alerts in the Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao grids. A public hearing on the issue is set on May 6. In a statement, Senator Tulfo says it is important to determine the cause of the insufficiency of power supply, including the cause of power plant outages and shutdowns. Citing data from the Independent Electricity Market Operator of the Philippines, Tulfo says that placing both Luzon and Visayas grids on yellow and red alerts has caused a spike in electricity market prices. The power supply shortage increased electricity costs in the Luzon grid to 13 pesos and 39 centavos per kilowatt hour from around 5 pesos and 55 centavos per kilowatt hour. In the Visayas, the situation raised power rates in the market from 5 pesos and 73 centavos per kilowatt hour to 14 pesos and 64 centavos per kilowatt hour. The senator further says that the increase in power rates should not burden innocent consumers. Aside from Tulfo, Senators Risa Ontiveros, Sherwin Gatchalian, and Francis Escudero also questioned the unjustified power outages and higher electric bills. Yellow and red alerts have been continuously raised in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao grids by the National Grid Corporation. Senator Ronald Bato Dela Rosa says he feels sorry for government officials being forced to allegedly cooperate with the International Criminal Court's probe into the war on drugs of the Duterte administration. His remarks came after former Senator Antonio Trillanes IV recently claimed that ICC investigators have talked to over 50 former and active police officers about the previous administration's war on drugs. Dela Rosa served as the first Philippine National Police Chief of the Duterte administration. In a phone interview, Dela Rosa says he is unsure how Trillanes obtained his information. Dela Rosa also echoes the pronouncement of the Department of Justice, saying that government officials who are communicating with the ICC are going against government policy of non-cooperation as far as the ICC is concerned. The senator emphasizes that there are no ICC investigators who have contacted him. He also says that Trillanes' recent claims are mere fabrication. Dela Rosa was the chief implementer of former President Rodrigo Duterte's brutal anti-drug war campaign. He is among those mentioned in the Crimes Against Humanity complaint before the ICC.